Hey guys, so I never had any plans to make a video on this topic, but I just had to scratch the itch. Recently, the Steam page for FNaF Plus has gone live. FNaF Plus is a fan-made remake of the original Five Nights at Freddy's developed by Phisnom, and is a part of the Fazer Fanverse initiative. If you don't know the story behind this game, I'll keep it brief. Phisnom originally made a remake of FNaF 2 with more customization options and refined visuals and gameplay. Essentially, it was a remake of FNaF 2 that surpassed the original in terms of quality. Now, this wasn't exactly a good thing for Scott Cawthon, who had it taken down. However, discussions with Phisnom did birth something new. Scott would allow Phisnom to remake a FNaF game and host it under the Fanverse initiative. Thus, FNaF Plus was not so much born as it was conceived. The game still isn't out and we have no date on when it will release. Phisnom himself has made it clear that developing the game itself is the highest priority he has at the moment, so he's neglected any of the merchandising opportunities offered, unlike Kane Carter and Emil Mako. For the record, I don't want to dunk on either of these creators. If anything, I think merch can only help build hype for your game coming out, and gives fans a little treat while they wait for the final product. So, to sum it up, FNaF Plus has garnered a quiet fanbase of sorts. Would I say I'm in the fanbase? Not really. I want to see the game in its finished state before I can call myself a fan of it. But one thing Phisnom has been very public about is the designs of each of his new animatronics. In FNaF Plus, we know of at least 5 animatronics guaranteed to make an appearance, although there should also be a 6th that we just haven't seen yet. The 5 we have seen include the Puppet, Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy. Since this is a remake of FNaF 1, I also assume we'll see Golden Freddy, but he has yet to be revealed and probably won't be until the game comes out. I'm trusting Phisnom actually has a different design for Golden Freddy than regular Freddy, as his whole philosophy about this game seems to have been avoiding shortcuts. That said, I'm not a game designer, I just stare, smile, and clap my hands. By the way, in case you're wondering, yes, my character has hands. So let's get this ranking underway. All of the revealed designs from FNaF Plus. At number 5, our bottom spot, I have the worst looking animatronic in the entire game. I have seen almost no one defend this design, and if you have, you're probably one of these two guys from Phiznom's comment section. Chica in this game irritates me. She is incredibly unrealistic and over-designed. To be fair, you could say that for a lot of Scott's animatronics from over the years. Most definitely the Nightmares, but they at least have an excuse. They are fictional within the story itself, personifications of death and fear. Chica is supposedly in FNaF Plus a real-world entity. She has a broken eye that just straight up does not match her other eye, and her beak opens up so much you can see wires and her endoskeleton teeth in them. Now, to be fair, the teeth is something the original Chica had, if you looked for it. They weren't always on full display. I'm also not too hot on this puppet version of the cupcake, but whatever, I suppose. Then there's her bow and skirt, which just further adds to this over-designed mess. I could go on and on about all my issues with this design and model, but I want to keep this a mostly positive video, so I'll stop there. Chica is pretty much the only character I have an actual irritation with, and it just stinks so many people look at this and say it's better than this. Number 4 goes to Foxy. Foxy's design was one of the biggest hype-ups in this game's lifespan so far, and we knew it had to be amazing. To an extent, we got exactly what we asked for. This version of Foxy is pretty scary. Cartoonishly scary, I might add. For some reason, this seems to be the design most people who don't like this game tear into, and to be honest, I just don't see it as much as Chica. I want to be clear, I also have issues with this design, but I have issues with every animatronic in every game. Trust me. For starters, let's talk about that milky eye. Contrary to what some may tell you, this isn't completely unrealistic for an animatronic to have, but it's still pretty goofy looking. I think mostly I have a hard time believing Foxy was made to entertain children when this is what he looks like. Looks more like he was made to entertain adults, what with that hourglass figure he's got going on. I think the idea was to make him look more emaciated and thus more broken down, but it doesn't come off like that. I've also heard comments from other modelers from within the community that it looks like Phisnom literally just crushed in the sides of a cylinder to make this part of the model. I'm no modeler or expert, but that's what I've heard. From what I can see, it's not a bad Foxy design at all, but it doesn't really vibe with the more realistic angle Phisnom is going for. Number 3 on this list is going to the puppet. Whereas the rest of the FNaF Plus cast has had their appearances revealed through renders, we still don't see all of the puppet. What we have seen I kinda like, but I'm putting him down here because I just don't know how the rest of him looks. The mask shape has people seemingly mixed, but I actually think it looks scarier than the original puppet mask got made. I think the puppet of this game has vast potential, although we don't know what their mechanic will be yet. So I'm speeding on to number 2, we have the man himself, Freddy Fazbear. We have seen more of Freddy than any other character so far, and I gotta admit, his design has definitely grown on me. I wasn't that big a fan at first, but Phisnom really pulled it together with how he's been animated. His design doesn't stray too far from the original Freddy, but he does look bulkier and, in my opinion, more intimidating. This is the first model of the game I would say is on par with and even surpasses the original character. At least it would surpass it, but I have one pretty big stinking issue with this design, and it's the pants. I don't know what it is lately with thinking Freddy needs pants to look good, but it just doesn't fit here. I think the inclusion of pants on this design, if anything, makes him look underdressed because he has no shirt under his vest, which also doesn't stretch across his chest or anything, it just kinda sits there, accentuating how heavy this Freddy is. Overall, I hold Freddy plus Bear in high regards and cannot wait to see him in the game. But for the best design of this game we've seen yet, it's pretty uncontested. Phisnom's take on Bonnie is absolutely incredible, and in my opinion, far surpasses the original in terms of creepiness. I have some problems with it, but they're very minor in comparison to the problems I have with Chica. Let's start from the head down. The ears are now one piece each on 2 long poles as opposed to the 2-piece ears the original Bonnie had. I don't know if this means they'll be unable to bend like the original, but I do think they make him look more like a rabbit this way, even if they are overall shorter. If anything, they kinda remind me of Scraptrap's ears, which were also shorter. Moving down the head, he has no eyebrows, classic, and a noticeable seam along the side of his face. This really excites me, as Bonnie is a character well known for his faceless shenanigans. I swear, if removing his face as part of his jump scare, I'll scream. That's not even hyperbole, I probably will scream. His eyes are what initially concerned me with how small they are in his eye sockets, but either Phisnom went back and fixed this issue, or something else happened because now they seem perfectly normal. If anything, they seem wide open when Bonnie is actively being controlled by a spirit, and half-lidded like the normal Bonnie when he's not. He also has a new set of overalls, which is something else people have been giving him lately. Keeping up with that Southerner theme, he also has his guitar replaced with a banjo, and this is something I'm not a fan of. You can only play so much with a banjo compared to a guitar, but more than that, it doesn't match the other 2 stage animatronics who don't really have a Southern theme going on. At least not a noticeable one. One last thing I want to mention is that the pants on Bonnie do look good on him, but I wish the color was a little darker. If anything, these pants do serve a functionality purpose, as they cover up the obvious knee joints Chica has, and presumably all the others would too. So I'll cut Freddy some slack on that too. And that's just about it. I gotta admit, my feelings about this game are pretty high. I expect this game will be amazing when it comes out, but I want to say something specifically to the FNAF Plus superfans out there. Do not harass someone because they like Security Breach, if they like it better or at all. Different strokes for different folks seems to be an ongoing argument within the community. It's totally acceptable if you don't like Security Breach, or any of the Scott-made games for that matter, but don't put others down just because they don't feel the same. Phisnom made his opinions on Security Breach clear a while ago, and I don't think ill of him at all. People are much more complex than how you see them online, and that goes both ways. I'm not saying anyone has to like Security Breach, but specifically from this game's community, I see a lot of harassments towards Security Breach's fans, and I'd really like to see less of it. That kind of toxic community can bring a game's reputation down as a whole. It's part of the reason some people don't like playing COD or Apex. So in short, this game's going to be a blast when it comes out. I'm going to link the game's Steam page down below. I highly encourage you to wishlist it and buy it when it comes out. Phiznom's work has been incredible, and he deserves every bit of support he can get. Part of the reason I want this game to do well is because I believe in the Famverse and want to see positive things come out of it. That's all, folks. Peace.